Hello people, and welcome back after a long break in recording to a new set of videos for the channel. Essentially, real life has massively got in the way and stopped me recording stuff, so I haven't had much chance for playing games on Vassal and Malifaux. However, what I have got is playing something completely different. So, let me introduce you to Dead by Daylight. So this is when it starts to work, an asymmetric horror game. Essentially a live action, real-time horror game that I'll be playing over the next few weeks with some friends. And you'll be actually doing a bit of a challenge run, which I'll be explaining in a second. So we'll be playing as Survivor, and essentially we will be playing a challenge known as Hardcore Survivor. Swift edition, to be fair, because there's 4 of us playing, Swift being Survive with friends, and the idea being that we're going to try and get from Ash 4, which is the lowest ranks, all the way up to Eerie 1, which is the highest possible rank. Whether or not we'll get all the way there or not depends a little bit on where we get to. Now you might notice that I'm Ash 2 here. This is actually recorded after our first round of games as such, which will be going live at some point this week, so you'll be able to see those. And yes, essentially what we'll do is we'll sort of show those games off. If you've not come across Hardcore in particular before, you'll realise that essentially we're going to start off with some really easy games, playing people who don't really know what they're doing, because there's a skill-based matchmaking involved. So we're all fairly experienced, if not that good, survivors, versus brand new people who don't know what they're doing. So we're going to bother them a little bit, but then as we get our MMR creeps up, as we get more and more escapes, it's going to get trickier and trickier. So, how does Hardcore work? So, essentially, we will get characters such as the lovely Serena here, who I'm playing. Essentially, there are perks that we can use, which are like powers. Each character has 3 unique teachable perks. In this case, after record, red herring for the people. I'll go through what they do in a second. And a bunch of sort of uncommon, non-character specific perks, and anybody can have these. And so we're using a mixture of our own perks and the non-character specific perks. We're going to try and make a build to try and get away from the killers. Obviously the gameplay will explain itself in terms of how things work, but essentially our job is there'll be 7 generators on a map when we load in. We have to complete 5 of them and then get out of the gates. To stop us, there will be a killer from either the brains of the guys who make this, or various famous horror franchises. You may recognise some of the characters as we go along. One of them is a very famous franchise. Shout out if you know who it is. So, in terms of who we've gone with, well, let's introduce myself first of all. So I've got Serena. Serena is a sort of custom-made character by the creators. She's not based on any franchise. She has 3 teachable perks. First one being after record, which basically means, so when a killer hits me and downs me, I am going to be put on a hook. Essentially, they're going to hit me down and put me on a hook. Once that's done, when I get after the hook, I have 60 seconds of invulnerability unless I do something like touching a generator or something like that. Red herring. I'm not going to bother reading this because this is a waste of time. I'm not bringing red herring, it's the other 2 perks I'm bringing. And for the people, this is essentially a transfusion of health states. So essentially you have sort of 3 states as a survivor: healthy, injured, and dying. And what I can do is basically, if I'm full health, if I'm healthy, I can go from healthy to injured, or healthy, and they can either go from dying to injured, or injured to full health. Really kind of useful perk, because one of the other things you'll find is killers will sometimes try and tunnel one person out to try and swing the game into their favour. This allows me to basically unhook somebody straight away, heal them, for the people them, and then hopefully that will mean that they are less likely to go down, especially if they get something similar to off the record to keep themselves alive, which are one or two things of. Now my 3 comrades are playing different characters, and I will talk you through them now. So, first of all, we have Meg Thomas, a regular, non-licensed character. She comes with 3 perks: quick and quiet. When vaulting over things or hiding in lockers, she can do it silently. Not really that impressive, but it's okay. Sprint Burst, which is the second best exhaustion perk in the game, most people would consider. This essentially allows Meg to run away at high speeds for the first 3 seconds of running away. She's in spin, slows down to regular speed, and an adrenaline. This allows you to instantly heal yourself in the end game and be faster, which is nice, which is also good. We then have David King. This is another person who is bringing sort of exhaustion perks. So we're gonna outlive forever. When healing somebody from the dying state, your healing speed is increased by 100%. In addition, you get, whenever you take a safe hook rescue, take a hit, rescue a survivor by stoning a killer or blinding them, you grant them endurance for 6 seconds, which is nice, and that gets longer as the perk levels up. Dead Hard, which is considered the best exhaustion perk in the game. This essentially gives you half a second of endurance, which is like an invulnerability effect, similar to the 60 seconds that I get for Off the Record. Basically means you can tank an extra hit. And then No Mither. We're not going to read No Mither, because No Mither is a bad perk and nobody should ever read it ever. And last but not least, we are going to the licensed killers thing, and we're talking about Rebecca Chambers. Slightly different view because I don't actually own Rebecca on this account. So, Rebecca comes with Better Than New, which is when you heal somebody, they get a speed bonus to healing, opening chests, cleansing, and blessing totems. That's not going to be brought. We have Hyper Focus, which we'll skip another one to go to Hyper Focus. Hyper Focus, when you're healing or repairing, you may get a skill check. These skill checks are basically little circles that have a great skill check and a regular skill check pass zone, and if you get a great skill check, this triggers and gets quicker and quicker. However, if you get off the gen or stop healing or anything like that, then you lose the Hyper Focus benefit. And then Reassurance, which is the one that we're going after, because it's really, really good. Essentially, as I said, one of the ways that killers can get advantage, certainly in the late game, is to camp, e.g. sort of stand near or next to the hook, make it really difficult for people to get rescued. Rebecca here can do reassurance, so she can run upwards to the hook survivor, press a button, pause their timer for 30 seconds, and then run out to do something else. Just means that while the killer is trying to camp them, we can buy ourselves extra time in the attempts to sort ourselves out to get a rescue attempt and get out safely. Because time is of the essence when people are on the hook. You've got to do things before the person dies. Now it might be that we can leave them on hook for a certain amount of time, but obviously you don't want to be dallying too much. So yes, that is the characters we are playing and the build we're doing. We have all these lovely survivors here, including the greyed out ones, ignore the fact they're greyed out. 32 of them I believe currently, although there is 2 more in the works that will drop before either the challenge or being well. We have to get these characters as close to what we're trying to get up. Try and get the survivor grade up to iridescent 1 without all these characters dying. Very difficult, but we may get there. So, yes, there will be a spreadsheet attached to this to sort of see what we're doing and what characters we're playing with. That'll be updated throughout the challenge. And yeah, hopefully all things being well, we can get close to iridescence. I think sort of the hope is that we can get into gold ranks, or even iridescent ranks will be happy. getting getting from Area 4 to Area 1 is difficult enough at the best of time if you're not a pro player. Doing it as a hardcore is going to be definitely extra difficult, but we'll give it our best shot. So yeah, that is what we're doing. Thank you very much everyone for watching. Have a good night, and yeah, run away from killers. Have fun.